Hello everyone, it is Sound Author, and today we are going to be looking at an update for Undertow for Zebra 2, which was actually my very first commercial library. It was my first UHI library, and it is, for reasons I don't care to explain in this video, because I could make a whole video about it, it is currently my only Zebra sound set. But yes, it was my very first commercial sound set, and I will be honest, there were some creative choices I made in the creation of this sound set that I perhaps might not have made today. There were some bold choices, to say the least, especially with quite a few of the atmospheres. But I recently went back into some of these patches and noticed that quite a few of them were very much louder than I remember. And I think the reason for that might be because I made these patches with Zebra in FL Studio, and I haven't used FL for a very long time, but I think by default instrument tracks are kind of set to like -5 or -6 dB or something like that. That might have been the reason why those patches were so intensely loud, and in fact, quite a few of them were clipping. I noticed because I'm a Bitwig user now, and I opened some of them. I was like, "Dear Lord, why are these so loud?" Especially the drum patches were just like, "Oh my God!" So everything complete. I had to completely redo the gain staging for everything, which was the largest chunk of work that needed to be done. But I also released Undertow before the new browser was out, and with the tags, with the tagging system. So none of that was there. Let's just go into the legacy folder to show you what I'm talking about. As you can see, there not only did we not have tags yet, but this was my first library, and I still hadn't quite gotten into I hadn't gotten used to actually entering in this description and usage information. So yeah, there's just a lot of superfluous information, especially in the usage fields. That's it's just a bunch of crap that's just like scattered all over the place, and so that bothered me too. So I went through and I completely redid the gain staging to make sure that everything is kind of within that kind of -4, -6 air, headroom, and so there's no more huge gain spikes that had apparently been there for years. I've never actually had anybody complain about it, but I was just like, oh, this is not good. So everything's been regain staged, and as you can see, the description and usage fields are much better, much more tidy, much more neat and organized, and of course, everything is now tagged. So yeah, this is much better. I think this is a much better look and feel. But also, there's 30 new patches that I'm going to go through here. And one last thing I want to say before I walk you through these new patches is some of these new patches may or may not have XY assignments. I did not pay too much attention to the performance page. I might at some point down the road just do another free update for Undertow with everything just completely with all XY controls. But I've got a lot of plates up in the air right now. I've got some other projects that I'm working on, and what I really wanted to deal with was gain staging, patch description and usage fields and tags, and of course add these new patches, which also have all of that information there. So anyways, long story short, here we go with the new patches. There's some kind of almost like horror scapes that I've done. mod wheel. And this is like an atonal patch. So no matter where you play, no matter what key you play, same key, same note. So it's completely atonal. No matter where you play, it's always going to be complete chaos. Okay, that's the whole point. It's a horror-scape. And I love this one. Mod wheel. The mod wheel just... You have to leave it open sometimes. Put a little louder. Velocity sensitivity as always. Very cool. Plume. The mod wheel assignment is also another assignment that you need to kind of just leave the mod wheel open. Because without mod wheel. And it's a little quiet right now, but when you introduce the mod wheel, this happens. The mod wheel is just open. Very cool. Okay, so that's it for the atmospheres. On to some cinematic percussion. Did I do performance for this? I did not. Maybe a couple of months from now, I will get back to another update after this one and really fill out all of the XY pads. Mod wheel. Okay. Good stuff. This one's really basic, but if you pepper it in here and there, there's mod wheel. Okay. This one is a bit dancey. Mod wheel. Snare killer. Can ease that snare in there. Really like that one. Project X. This is another cinematic and more experimental, really. But it is kind of cinematic. Mod wheel. Aftertouch. Awesome. Sucker punch. Mod wheel. Aftertouch. Both. And you hear how everything is just kind of within that -4, -6, -5 area, okay? It's not, we're not being slapped over the head with it, but it is nice. And I did make sure that these, most of these drum patches don't really have much, if any, velocity sensitivity, because I think a lot of them are just kind of like in your face kind of cinematic percussion. You don't need too much velocity sensitivity with that. I think this is my favorite one so far. Very useful. Mod wheel. Very cinematic. We can put that one to use, can't we? Okay, so that's it for the drum patches, and this is the only lead that's in here. I was just thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Brian cannot play piano. But I was thinking, why not? If you can do it, you might as well do it, just for posterity. It's there. Okay, pads. This one is a little weird because there's some feedback things happening with the delays that I really kind of went nuts with. I said I wanted to make a pad sound that was injured by several modulated delay lines, which you can control in the perform section. So this one actually does have performance controls. Some of them actually do. So you can hear the feedback and those delays kind of howling in the background. Mod wheel. Some Aftertouch. I wish I could make it smoother. The Aftertouch. It is kind of hard to introduce it without assigning it to a fader. Yeah, that's on a fader. Let's kind of leave it open a little bit. It's kind of a melancholy pad. Clicheighties. This is just a big cheese machine right here. Actually make some really good music with some of those cheesy pads that maybe don't sound phenomenal by themselves, but you massage that into a mix, and all of a sudden you've got yourself a pretty good little piece of music. Okay. Aftertouch, space whales. More like space dolphins, really. A little weird, but useful. Pretty shiny things. And this one it's actually one of my favorite synthesis sounds. Is actually using FM to kind of feign subtractive synthesis by simply having an operator feeding back into itself, which kind of results in something that kind of sounds like a sine or a saw wave, but the waveform itself is kind of like round, so it has this warmth to it that I actually really like. And of course it's sensitive, just like all the other pads are. It's a very nice sound. Moving right along. Wait, where am I? That's one thing that I would like to see. See here. Where was I? FM saw. The one thing is that the scroll wheel kind of it kind of skips over stuff. I don't like that. Can we fix that, please? You have to actually manually drag it, which is kind of annoying. So I'm sure it'll be fixed at some point. Yes. All right. That's very pretty. GlitterScape. Y'all know I like my glittery sounds. Goliath. Yeah, that's got some beef. A fitting name. Mod wheel introduces these kind of like these metallic. Almost sounds like somebody's dropping these like thin steel beams in the background. That's the thing about these usage fields, that I used to have like every single modulation parameter that mod wheel and Aftertouch was modulating was listed, and there'd be just these giant columns. I guess from a technical perspective, that's useful, but that doesn't really give the user a very good idea of what to expect when they use mod wheel and Aftertouch. So I just kind of, with some of these patches, instead of listing off every single thing that mod wheel and Aftertouch is doing, I just give you some sort of abstract kind of description, some kind of rough summary of what mod wheel and Aftertouch is doing. And this is a good example. It just gives you an idea. There's no, I don't really think there's a practical reason to have like every single parameter, just all the superfluous information just slapped up on the screen. I just don't think that's very helpful, and it's kind of ugly. So mod wheel. Phaseraid. That's a good sweep. Okay. That's a pretty pad. If I can toot my own horn. Mod wheel. Well, that's a nice little vapor trail, hence the name. Okay. So. Oh, what's going on here? It's one of those pulsing sequences that you have to get at the notes at the same time, or it'll be all. Okay, you have to be on it. Ultra Pluck. It's another. This is something that I would probably like do some generative things with, and like Bitwig, I'd probably like plug their arpeggiator into it, and maybe play around with some of the new modules to do something generative with it. Some saws in underneath of it. Oh, a little vibrato. So it's expressive. That's good. And this is an interesting patch. You can see in the usage info, it says alternating bass for the pitch wheel. So instead of bending the pitch, it actually changes the bass note. I'm moving the pitch wheel. It's something else that you have to be on. It was an idea I had. Maybe the whole pitch wheel thing for alternating basses is maybe that's a better concept than it is a reality. But I just did it because I could do it. So play some chords. Oh, this one changed this. Oh, yeah, the mod wheel changes the speed. So. It's a little weird, but I think it has its use. This is mono. This is another one of those generative diatonic sequences that will just be in the key of your patch. Aftertouch. one is also mono. Mod wheel. I think this one is also diatonic. Another poly. So, mod wheel. Very nice. And the last patch, which is another arpeggiated sequence. It's an arpeggio, so you can play some chords with it. As a matter of fact, I think that I will just go ahead and resave this. And instead of saying that, let's just say play some chords, exclamation mark. Because whenever you can play chords in a patch, that's usually what the patch description is. Okay, and I try to make sure that that's true with arpeggios or sequences. Anything that you can play chords with that you would ordinarily think might be a mono patch, you usually will see it in the patch description. See, play some chords. It'll be there. So if you're in sequences, this is just a friendly reminder that this is a poly pulsing sequence. Okay. Sometimes it's a poly patch, sometimes it's an arpeggio, but it is something that you can play chords with. So anyways, there is the update for Undertow, which I think is a much cleaner, more polished version of the library. I think that this is closer to what I had intended to make with Undertow. At a later date, I may just release a free update with all of the XY stuff done, and that won't be of any charge. That'll just, if you purchased Undertow, you'll just get that version of it. But since there are 30 new patches here for existing Undertow customers who purchased the original version, you're just going to get a coupon code, and this is just going to be $6. But the price will go from $25 to $30 on my Gumroad store. In other news, you might have noticed my sound set for Yuhi, Kinesis for Hive 2, was released a couple of days ago, and I have been very excited to let you all know about that. But my patch walkthroughs for Kinesis are on Yuhi's YouTube channel, and had a lot of fun making that library. I'm very proud of it, and I hope you all love it. And I'll just go ahead and I'll leave a link to the product page for Kinesis in the description. So anyways, there you have it. Undertow has been updated, and I think it's a good update. I hope you like it.